My name is Nina Ellis, Dr. Nina Ellis, and I'm an assistant professor of English and comparative literature here at a university in Egypt. I've just started this job, and we had a wonderful induction week by the university which featured lots of tips from existing faculty on how to avoid grade negotiation. So I thought it would be a good idea to share them with you. So grade negotiation, which unfortunately I think is becoming more common according to the induction week I just did, is when you give your students a grade on an assignment and they come and try to get you to change it through negotiation, through demanding extra percentage points or whatever. The university where I teach is really keen on academic integrity and stopping grade negotiation, and so am I. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk to you all about it. So the main tip from my induction week was, number one, set clear expectations. In my first classes with my students, I told them that I would not accept any grade negotiation this semester or any semester. I reassured them that even though I wouldn't negotiate grades, I would certainly explain their grades to them, and I would share grading rubrics, what we call marking criteria in the UK, way ahead of any assignments, so that they know exactly what's being assessed and what they can do to get the highest grades. I also put my statement on not negotiating grades in my syllabus so that hopefully later on, if I encounter resistance, I can refer back to it and remind my students that this is what they agreed to. And speaking of agreeing to it, I had them sign a classroom pact of 10 rules involving, not being late, doing the homework, all the usual stuff. But the 10th one was, I agree that there is no grade negotiation in this class. So hopefully we're all in on this project of not negotiating grades together. Number two, the second tip I got from our induction week at this university was to establish a reputation as someone who does not give easy A's. So after our first class, where I explained that there would be no grade negotiation, I showed them where the statement was in the syllabus and I had them sign the classroom pact, I then sent an email to all of my students saying to them that as they consider whether to add or drop this course, and they have 1 week to do that, they should take into account the fact that I am a fair grader, not an easy grader. And I worked really hard to portray this as a good thing, because I think it is. I told them that if they do well in my class, if they get a B or an A, it's because they really deserve it. And because I teach creative writing, I was able to say, if you get an A, it's because I think your work could be published. I was also really transparent with my students and shared the statistic that we've been given in our induction week about grade inflation, which is roughly that if you have more than 30% A and above, or more than 50% B and above in your course, there might be a situation of grade inflation. Of course, occasionally you get an exceptional class and they all do brilliantly, but usually that would be a sign that you're being a bit too generous with your marks. And I told the students that I'd been told that, so that they know that this isn't something they can negotiate with me about. It's just a fact of life that's been taught to us by the university who employ us as faculty. So tip number one is obvious. Tell them that you won't negotiate grades. Put it in your syllabus and have them sign a classroom pact. Tip number two is send the email and do that work to establish your reputation as a fair, not an easy grader. Of course, the outcome is that some students will drop your course because they would like to get easier grades and be able to negotiate. I started off with an oversubscribed creative writing short story class of 24 students, which is now down to 19. And my other course, which is about literary rebels, dropped from 21 people to 16. I assume some students will enroll in my courses as well before the end of this drop and add week, and that's fine, that's great. But even if they don't, I'm really happy to lose that roughly 25% of my class, because it means that the students who are there are really there for the right reasons, and they're on board with my value system, which I also shared with them in my first class. I think the most important things in life are effort, courage, and empathy. And that's what I'm looking for, and they know that. So let's see if it works. Let's see if my students still negotiate grades or if they really have got the message. Either way, I'm super excited to be teaching them. They're lovely. Have a great week and check in again next week for updates on my assistant professor life. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, you can find my Substack at Looking for Lucia, or you can just have a look at my website to find out more about my work. Bye!